Oh my goodness. That is a lot of caterpillars. That's a lot of caterpillars. Isn't this teacup the cutest idea you've ever seen? I just think it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So, hi everybody, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel Butterfly Square Garden. Jason Sebastian. This is a place where you can be free to be yourself. So a couple of days ago, I came up with the idea to put the caterpillars in this cute little teacup set that I found in the basement. And I thought that the flower tube holder with the forks was a good idea. It's still a good idea. It's not as easy to clean as the teacups. With the teacups, I just grab a popsicle stick and move the caterpillars, to a fresh cup, and then I get a little brush and I brush out the dirty cup, and then I, move the dirty caterpillars into the fresh one, and then I just go down the line. So earlier today, I cleaned out 1, 2, 3, 4 cups. I put in a fresh one just to be ready for later. As for the caterpillars on the forks in the test tube holder, just letting them kind of finish off the food, and then they crawl off of the old food into a fresh cup, just like over here. So over here I've got my forks with the old food that I just putting on the side for now, because like I said, when the caterpillars are done, they just leave it. But it's important to not put in a big giant chunk of food, because once they're on it, they do not want to leave it. I thought that they would be leaving the food at nighttime to go sleep on the walls or something, but they don't. They live on the food, and they actually really like how it curls up on the end. It's really good hiding spots, and I've realized that that's what their camouflage is good for. It's like old dead leaves, or like a moldy squash or something. So yeah, they're really going to town on the old food, and then when they're ready, they will go over to the fresh food, and then that's how I know when it's time to put in new food. I'm gonna put in some fresh squash later, and when they're moving onto the new fresh squash, that's how I know that more food is necessary, because usually I'll have like one piece of food in here that's untouched at all times. So that's what I'm gonna do later, but that was the old fresh food. That's the newest fresh food. And then I can go down the line, older, oldest. So there's nothing really wrong with having the old food. Like this fork is completely done, but I'm just waiting for the caterpillar to leave it, and then I will take it out. So isn't that just the cutest thing you've ever seen? It is so cute, and it's so easy to clean. So I think I'm gonna divide this up into like 2 nets, where I can have another couple teacups, and then that's how I'm starting to measure how many caterpillars I have room for, like how many cups, how many teacups worth. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I counted 12 the other day. So each teacup can house about 5 to 10, maybe 12 caterpillars comfortably. But I'm gonna say like 5 to 10 caterpillars is per cup. Like this just has one piece of squash, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say 5, obviously less than that. You can have 1 through 10. And then as for the flower tube holder, if you've got like a lot of caterpillars, that will work, but I'm just not a huge fan of having these fork prongs sticking straight up, because what if someone falls, they could get impaled. Which reminds me, on the roof, I started taking paper clips and I would just thread a piece of squash through the paper clip, and then I would secure that to the roof or the ceiling. So now we've got some caterpillars on the floor and some caterpillars on the ceiling with a little like chandelier of butternut squash. And then I've got my one thread of silk, which was made out of about 15 buttons, you know, from the chrysalis, which is the next thing I'm gonna do. I've got about 30 chrysalis. We've got one, and then another net over here, and then another net down there with two. You can see on the roof there's two. So I've got about 30 chrysalis that I'm gonna be, I wanted to leave them alone, but now it's starting to take up a lot of space, so I might just move them all onto one rack, and then I'll just have like a little display area, because I really want to have, we've got one net full of babies. There's two babies in there that I got from the butterfly net. Back there you can see we've got butterflies. There's about 12 butterflies. They're flying around up top, and then they'll drink nectar from my little micro puddles, and then there's leaves in there. There's dried leaves for them, the butterflies, to lay their eggs on, and also fresh leaves for when the caterpillars hatch. They can just eat the fresh leaves. That's how I've decided I'm gonna do like the babies and the eggs. The babies and the eggs will be in with the butterflies, because it's too much work to like separate out each individual egg, because a lot of the eggs don't even hatch. So I'm just gonna leave it there on the floor, and then if the eggs decide to hatch, they will find the fresh leaf and start eating it. So that's how I found one baby eating the leaf, so I took the leaf out of the butterfly net. And then I also found, when I was cleaning out an enclosure full of chrysalis, there was no food in there for like a week, and I found a little baby caterpillar. So he must have been like sustaining himself off of, you know, food droppings from the bigger caterpillars, which I guess they can do. They wouldn't be the first animal in nature to eat poop. I'm talking to you koalas and deer. So yep. This is it. So I think I'm gonna do one video of just the caterpillars eating the squash, because it's literally like the cutest thing. And now I'm able to like move them around so easily. I can just move a little teacup, and I think that's why I'm going to do a netted enclosure downstairs, so that other people in my family can see them, because like the whole point of all of this is so that it can be bigger than just myself. I'm making ButterflySquareGarden. It's a 501c3 business, which in order to have a nonprofit, you start out as a business and then you file for different articles like the 501c3, so that it becomes tax exempt. And you become a real nonprofit that can accept donations and stuff. So I'm gonna start doing a Patreon where you can donate. I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna set up a Patreon, and I'm gonna show you guys a teacup just like this, you know, where you can come and check on the caterpillars, and you can be part, I don't know, ownership. You know, I want people to be able to participate and see them. So that's why I think, yeah, I'm going to start maybe in a school or something. I'll give a little teacup with caterpillars so that the kids can watch the caterpillars turn into butterflies. And one of the biggest things that would keep me away from doing that is because it just gets so messy so fast. But it's like, let me show you the butterflies, because I'm really proud of my micro puddles, you know. Feeding butterflies is one of the hardest parts, but you can see this guy right here. They just walk up to the nectar puddle, which is really just a petri dish, and I used a rubber band to secure some tulle on top, which is like a little net. And then I squirt, I use my little mono jet to squirt Gatorade directly into it. And it's that easy, you know. The butterflies, they come, they feed on the little nectar, and over here, underneath this fresh leaf, you can see there are eggs down here, but for whatever reason, like you can see over here, there are eggs, but I don't know how long it's gonna take them to hatch. The first round, they started hatching in like 3 days, and those eggs have been in there for like a week. So I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna go switch out the paper towels for some fresh ones. But I really like the spots on them. I think they're kind of like a watercolor that's made by the butterflies. So maybe I will do something with those instead of just throwing them in the garbage. So anyways, I can't zoom anymore. I think there we go. I'm like, did I ruin my phone? So yeah, you know, one last thing, my sister keeps saying like, oh, the wingtips are broken. It's like, that means that they lived a long life. If you see a perfectly shaped butterfly, that means, you know, like in museums and stuff, that's because they get killed like immediately after they come out of their chrysalis. And these are long living butterflies that were bred in captivity. I have never taken a butterfly from outside and brought it inside. I have only ever taken eggs or caterpillars, and those even were directly from plants that I put in my garden. So as far as I'm concerned, if I own the plants, then I own the caterpillar. But the butterflies, they're free to live on their own outside, because we want outside butterflies even more than we want inside butterflies. So yep, all the way in the corner, they're flying around. You know, they do fly against the wall. That's one of the reasons why the wingtips break. But you know, there are walls outside nature too. And then when they get old, they don't even have the energy to fly up top anymore. They just flap around on the ground. So tell me, what's better, being eaten by a bird or living so long that, you know, your body dies on its own? Like, do you see how leaves dry up? That's kind of the same thing that happens to butterflies. Like, they just disintegrate because they're not meant to last forever. So yeah, zip, zip, zip. But with that being said, these butterflies kind of will last forever because I preserved them in this shadow box that I make, you know. That's what I do with them. I want to immortalize the butterflies. So over here, you know, I put them in these cute little petri dishes. So I have a whole bunch of butterflies that, you know, I kind of want to say last forever, but no, maybe like 100 years. And then over here, so far this season, 4 butterflies have died. And I think maybe one with wrinkly wings that I put in the pile, but those are from like 3 years ago. And I think I'm going to make a hydration box, which is basically just a Tupperware container with paper towels that I spray with water that has been mixed with pine sol, because that will control the mold. And then once they soften up and are moisturized, then I can press them into place. But those were the butterflies that died that day. So they didn't have time to dry out. So I was able to just mount and pin them without having a hydration chamber. But yeah, I've got more painted ladies. I tried using resin to preserve the painted ladies as an experiment, but resin is toxic, and if you breathe it, like, it could kill you. So I didn't really, and it's expensive, so I just wasn't really into that as much as, and these are so cool because you can just like open it up and see. I did glue it on the bottom, but you know, that's really cool. So isn't it really cool? And without the resin, like, you can get close and like actually see the hairs on their body, you know? So that's just something that you wouldn't get with resin. So anyways, that's kind of all the stuff I wanted. I really just wanted to show you the one teacup and say that I'm proud that I was able to clean out the enclosure without struggling, you know? So anyways, these guys, wow, it's like a tree, you know? When there's a lot of caterpillars, they could eat an entire tree in like a day. So I don't know. I want to get to 1,000,000. Let's get to 1,000,000, right? Butterflies flying so high. You want me to sing you a Greek song? Mia orea petaluda. Mia orea petaluda. Mia orea petaluda. Senan campo mia fora. Zu sekita mia hara. Oli don something Kalazia Pizziles. Oli don Kalazia Pizziles. Oli don Kalazia Pizziles da Halazia. I forget. I'm gonna have to remember it. It's a Greek song about a flying butterfly flying so high. Maybe I'll make my own songs. Okay, everybody, drop a comment below. Don't you love my teacup caterpillar? I love my teacup caterpillar. Bye, everybody. I'm going to make a separate video of just the caterpillars in the teacup because this is outrageous. I just spent 20 minutes showing you guys all my stuff. Okay. Bye.